RTD Live Talk, Detroit's number one talk show. Excited to be back for another live stream. Looking forward to sharing some interesting stories as well as finding out what's happening in your world. And open up the phone lines. I want to hear from you guys. So as always, numbers 313-462-0027. We'll love to hear from you when the phone lines are open. And let me give it a second here. Get a couple more people tuned in and go from there. So any new viewers, feel free to let me know where you're watching from via the chat, and I would love to acknowledge your presence and welcome you to the fold. And then I'll dive into a couple articles here. I got a couple different stories to talk about, primarily the subject heading for the video. We're going to touch on those. But then today in the Discord channel, one of the community members shared an interesting video about the possibility of an event that's according to the information shared, whether it's valid or not, I don't know. But it got me to thinking about a topic that we don't typically touch on. And it's usually there's areas and sections and subjects that we don't touch on until after something unfolds. And then we begin talking about it when signs were in front of us the whole time, but we never paid attention to them because they seemed like they could be normal. So I got a subject I want to touch on. And I was going to do a separate video, but I'm like, it'll be too much. But I'll run it by you guys. And for all my other people out there to study more in depth in that subject matter, I want you to comment and call in or whatever. Anyway, so welcome. I've noticed lately that, as my mind spins, I have so many topics at one time flowing through my mind. That's why I find myself ranting and going different directions because it's hard to stay stable and focus on one subject matter, because as the thoughts come, I tend to go there. So I got to learn how to hone in. So any advice on how to hone in out there, let me know. I'm open. Okay, so welcome to this live stream. Let's get into it. We got Mastodon. We got Mikey B. Said osmium is a rare, stable metal on Earth, rarer than rhodium and iridium, more potential than silver, gold, not manipulated by the big banks yet. So, Mikey, man, I appreciate you for sharing that. If it's on a periodic table, it's something I should have touched on, but I'm not familiar with it. So I'm going to pull it up here. And if you got some articles or whatnot, definitely send it to us in the chat, and I'll click on them and see what we can see. Anyway, appreciate that. We got Renee. We got Low Blood Pressure, L Walk. We got Tony B in the building. We got Dude Boy, Midnight Green, Ed. We got Steady Eddie from Canada. How you doing, man? Steady Eddie, let me know what's going on in Canada, man. I've been hearing a lot of news about, troops being in Ontario, as precautionary measures. And then I know they've been real strict with the lockdown and stuff like that. Let me know what your area is looking like. We got Vince Valentine. We got Faith Parent. How you doing? We got, what else are here? Luke is in the building. Okay, fair amount of people here. Appreciate you guys for taking time for us, man. All right, let's dive in. So, but let me, as always, you know how I do. I do a little house cleaning for those that might be new to the channel. I want to make sure I let everybody know where they can find us just in case we're disconnected. And we can dive into it. So I want to rant less and give you guys a chance to share what's on your mind. So rethinkingthedollar.com is the website where it's the home base. It's the origin of everything that I do here in the social media / internet world. So articles, videos, you name it, you can find it there. Connect with us there. And one thing that I haven't mentioned that I should touch on, if you scroll down to the very bottom, it's my how to unplug from the monetary matrix. My little 5 steps here, which is the awakening period, the awareness period. You got to analyze it, then you act, and then you assemble. And so those are my 5 little A's, the 5 A's. And I put something underneath just to get you, into that ballpark there. So for anybody new, feel free to check those out. So for an ebook I put together a couple years ago that's still relevant now because it talks about the simplicity of money if we really understood what it meant. But anyway, so keep it moving. Social media wise, Patreon and Telegram. Go to the link beneath this video here, click the social media tab, and then join us on Discord, share articles, news sources, all the videos, all the links I want to share the thoughts originated from the Discord, because the guys do a great job communicating. Also, we got any ladies in the community, make sure you become a member on Discord as well. Share what's happening in your world. I'm always curious to find out. And then we got all the other channels. Okay. So let me keep it moving. Let's dive in. So I got a lot of articles up here. But let's talk about this one. I think this is interesting. Today, the Dow closes more than 300 points lower following reports of Biden eyeing a capital gains tax. And so the capital gains tax, we all know that we are currently, or maybe it's not official yet, but we can all guess what kind of environment we're in now, because the whole idea of modern monetary theory, basically unlimited creation of currency with the idea of being able to sustain that, but also increasing taxation to level things off, has been something that's been talked about for several years now. So officially it's here because we witnessed, all the trillions being created. And of course, they cannot continue to do all these trillions without kicking up taxes. And so modern monetary theory is in full play. It's going to get worse. But yeah, just the fact that we got Biden now moving into a ballpark where he typically would not move, no other president, to my knowledge, but I haven't been studying this that long, has even really threatened the idea of doubling capital gains tax, for his own kind, meaning, the uber wealthy, the politicians, which are, high paid employees that get kickback from the special interest, I'm talking about, because the capital gains tax is something that has been more so prevalent to those that are heavy or high net worth, or not high net worth individuals, and those who understand the financial realm and how to invest. Okay. Your average Joe don't really, mess with capital gains because they don't have assets to really sell back to anybody to be taxed on. And so what came to mind when I first saw this, just a very mere threat of doubling the capital gains tax for the wealthy. They talking about taxing the wealthy for, Bernie Sanders want to tax the wealthy for free college. Once again, you give anything away free, it automatically dilutes it and make it of less value instantaneously. But yet they're going to give us free college. Okay, sure. Free stimulus checks. Okay. Purchasing power debasement happens automatically in time. When you got the reserve currency, it buys you some time. But if any other country, we already be well beyond the 2% inflation target that they can't seem to find. But anyway, back to my point. Eyeing capital gains tax. So that we're looking at the fact that the stock market's at an all-time high and it's continuing to go up. They're going to continue to pump the markets with currency because that's the only way they can keep the bubble inflated. But then on the other end, they're going to call themselves taxing the uber wealthy. And we know whenever they threaten the uber wealthy, because they like to use that. And of course, everyone knows these words I'm about to use, because every president for the last 3 terms, no, not 3, Trump didn't really say it, but the president before Trump, they need to pay their fair share. We must make sure that everyone's paying their fair share. Okay, so that's how they try to sell us on hiking taxes for the uber wealthy. And of course, Elizabeth Warren is talking about, whatever her tax plan is that, any billionaire who makes above $1 billion would pay $1 or something like that per billion, or 2 pennies on every dollar above 1 billion, or something crazy. But yet you got the average Joe, the hardworking individual, would say, sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? They make all that money, they can afford it. Not realizing that ultimately those people who make all those funds, it's not actually income. It's their investments as well. And if we start talking about taxing and doubling up on capital gains, the wealthy, those that are the primary recipients in that ballpark, they're going to change the rules of the game as well, which means they're going to probably downsize, lay off, cut jobs, cut pay. And they're going to really probably be forced to go towards robotics, because they're going to cut overhead significantly to try to lower the total profit and revenue margins or whatnot to below that threshold that the government sets for that capital gain tax hike type of thing. So, it's interesting that when the government comes out suggesting ways to improve the economy, when they are the ones that have kept it this way, because they've abdicated the responsibility of running our currency to a privately centrally held bank, and then they use that bank to borrow from. So they're the reasons why we're having these issues. But anyway, I'll spend too much time on that. But I'm curious to get your thoughts on this whole capital gains tax situation. I think it's gonna be interesting as it unfolds. Okay, next article. Something worthwhile, but yet a former administration mentioned that this was coming. The House Democrats passed bill to make DC the 51st state. 51st state. Why will we actually need that at this current point where we're experiencing a monetary transition? Could this be political in nature? Could this be because the Democratic extreme left radicals want to have a position in the House and Congress when it comes to seats, to be able to continue to push their things through regardless of what comes through? More than likely. So just the fact they're talking about creating DC is the 51st state, and then Puerto Rico's on the board next, it probably places more seats in the Senate or in the House, either one or whatever. They're going to form a whole new branch probably to help them push their agenda. You know what I'm saying? So packing the court, add more states. It favors the extreme left, those who are willingly and eagerly wanting to completely destroy this country here. The country that gave them birth, more than likely, they're wanting to destroy it and basically hand it to the globalists, those that want to connect all governments into one single entity, creating one world currency. You know where this is going. Okay, so you guys get my drift. Let me know your thoughts on this. Some good news. Here's some good news. Arkansas Senate votes. Let me zoom in so I can make this bigger. Arkansas Senate votes overwhelmingly to remove sales tax from gold and silver. So it says Senate Bill 336 removes sales and use tax on purchase of gold, silver, platinum, palladium, coins, bullion in Arkansas. It says Arkansas senators voted 30 to 1 to pass a measure into the Arkansas House of Representatives. So here's some of the important reasons as to why that is, and then lists some more things here. But we have another state that is getting back to sound money type principles by basically saying that money is, you can't tax money. You can't tax true sound money. And so that's a good thing. So I'm sure my people out there in the community are excited about that. Okay, here's another article that I thought was worthwhile. Because of Uncle Sam wanting to have the ultra wealthy or uber wealthy or those above, the high net worth individuals as well as the high paid employees pay their fair share, the trend of the U.S. citizenship renunciation to rise dramatically. And so the more people are taxed, basically it's a penalty for succeeding. It's a penalty for using the very system that was put in place for you to take advantage of at the time that they're trying to reset the monetary system. So there's going to be more people deciding to opt out. And so here's some stats down here. It says, let me go back here. It says a record 6,700 Americans gave up their citizenship in 2020. That was up by 260% from 2019 when 2,577 citizens did so. So the amount of individuals, 6,700, and of course, in order to renounce your citizenship, you usually got to be sitting on some change. So we got 6,700 people last year decided to say, hey, you know what? The citizenship stuff is not worth me losing everything I worked for. Let me go ahead and just give them their paper back and I'll get my freedom. And they probably went to a country where the tax laws are a lot easier and they don't have to be taxed in every area of life. And so, more power to them. But, if you had the option, that's my question to the community. If you had the option of renouncing your citizenship and deciding to just go and claim citizenship somewhere else, more than likely, I follow a lot of people who say you can go buy it in certain islands and certain countries. It's very favorable for those that are willing to invest in those countries. Would you be willing to renounce and then go over and get you some citizenship by paying for it? Let me know in the chat. I'm curious to hear what you guys say. And then the last one here. Senate Republicans outline their own infrastructure plan. Here's what's in it. And so I had a chance to thumb through it. So ultimately, I think Biden wanted a $2 trillion package, and it looks like the GOP package is $568 billion. And so that's 1.5 or so less than what Mr. Biden was told to put in an order for, because once again, as I mentioned before, everything he's doing is just a down payment towards a total of the 50 trillion. What he really want to say is 50 trillion, but you can't pull it off in one check. And so he's talking about 2 trillion. But the GOP is saying 568, which literally, what can you do with 568, really, when you think about it? That's like, here in Flint, not far away, they need to rebuild the entire piping infrastructure. That could be, 10 billion, 50 billion. You know what I'm saying? So that 568 won't go too far. So I don't think it's going to work. But Biden says he's willing to compromise. But my guess, and let me know in the chat, what number do you think they're going to come to a compromise on? I'm going to put something out there in the terms of, we'll say 1.1. A 1.1 trillion package will be introduced by June. Anybody want to put some bets on that one? A cup of coffee or something? I don't drink coffee, but a cup of tea? Let me know in the chat. All right, so let's keep it moving. And so I'm going to take a couple minutes real quick because I want to talk about this other subject matter. Let me see if I can. In the Discord, one of the community members shared a video earlier. I'll put it on the screen here. And this is my last little rant, then I'll stop. put a video in the community saying, this is from the deplorable duck. I never heard of him until this video. Not sure if he's credible or not, but I would take him at his word. So anyway, in this video here, it says NYC there's an upcoming event. Emergency equipment is moving. And so in this little 3-minute clip, this guy here talks about how he's a truck driver in NYC, and the company he works for, they've been given a contract to basically move in a large amount of electric company power trucks. And so as of now, according to this video here, there's about 200 trucks or so, 300 trucks. 200 trucks already been brought in to NYC and other areas within New York. And he was saying that his employer was, he asked his employer, hey, what's up with this? Why is there so many trucks needed? Whatever. So he was told or something like that, they've been doing this for, quite some time now, over a year now. And they've been building up the inventory of electrical trucks, the ones with the buckets that take you up to the wires and all that stuff like that. And so ultimately what he's saying is that there's some type of event coming to New York pretty soon. And so in the chat, the community member was sharing his thoughts about how there's some type of EMP possibility or something of that magnitude, a solar flare or something like that. Or, of course, we know that the government is able to control the weather, manipulate some things. So depending on this information here, there's a possibility that there could be something coming in the form of a false flag. We always need some type of event to further push legislation to get more stimulus and stuff like that. So don't be surprised. But, once again, we can go back and visit this video and see if this is true or not with time will tell. But one thing that came to my mind when I saw this was like, okay. And then, what exactly is the greatest threat of an EMP as well as just electrical cloud flare, storm, whatever? It's going to ruin the power grid. But then I'm thinking like, okay, if it ruins the power grid, why is that so detrimental to this current moment? Because several reasons. One of them, it gives an excuse. It gives an excuse for the government to say, hey, we need to rebuild back better with our infrastructure. That's why the climate change, we need to, redo the power grid and make it smart and, all this other stuff. But then also the most important resource of the 21st century has become consumer data. Consumer data, your data. Everything we do goes through the internet. And so my personal opinion, I'm about to go far left field. Let me know. I can bring it back in if you want. But consumer data, everything we do is being saved. It's basically metadata. Somebody's collecting it and using it against us directly to sell back to us, to track us, trace us, to create a social credit score platform where all our activity will be monitored. And it'll link back to our Fed coin at some point with your credit, your health records, all that stuff is going to be in one. So this possibility of this event, this coming up, hopefully not, God forbid it does. It has everything to do with the internet. And why do I say that? Because I've been tracking and following how there's been three primary discussions in the social sphere about the need to address the internet problems we have. And so let me pull up some quick things. I'm gonna scan the surface and we just keep it moving. Here is something worth mentioning. And this is, so here's an article here that's 3 years old, but it's timely because I think it has something to do with the fact that, not only is it a security risk for a lot of these countries to be connected to the web, that was basically a Western hemisphere development. They need their own internet service. So it says, why is Russia building its own internet? And so, of course, this is older news, but it goes deep. And so the Western hemisphere has completely unplugged from the Eastern dominance with the de-dollarization process and the currency, as well as the internet. And of course, everything linked to that. And so between the currency and the internet, those are the two biggest moves that do not get much attention, but I think it's worth talking about because the central bank digital currencies will operate on the web 2.0 or whatever version of internet that's provided. And so the fact that Russia has started, they probably already have their infrastructure where they control the Russian airways when it comes to internet. And I'd imagine always anticipating some type of war type style event, they've probably found a way to maneuver it to where it's probably something that can get around an EMP or something to where they cannot be completely taken off and wiped off the grid the way that we here in the U.S. could be. They keep it moving. Here's another article here, and these are older articles, but they timely for what I believe is possibly in the making. It says the Splinternet, how China and the U.S. could divide the internet for the rest of the world. And so, of course, we all talk about how China and America have been going back and forth. We know about that. And so, more in a more recent development, here is something here. The U.S.-China battle over the internet goes under sea. So China has decided to provide internet ultimately to every region that will be a part of the One Belt, One Road initiative underwater. And that is something that was introduced to me in this channel from one of the community members, maybe I think last year, maybe last summer. And it says here, the Department of Justice opposition to Facebook and Google's 8,000-mile cable to Hong Kong highlights how physical infrastructure is a contentious as virtual world. And so here's the main thing of this: the cybersecurity implications of Chinese undersea cable investment. So China basically has been running wires under the ocean. And I don't know how deep it goes, but here's a little map here of where all this internet is moving from. And I know and what makes this interesting is this is back to my point. In 2013, the BRICS business leaders announced plans to construct a 185 million submarine cable connecting Brazil, Russia, China, India, and South America. So the BRICS, the BRICS, which I've covered for several years now, which was supposed to be the intended next new world order or leader of the next world order. They have everything needed to set up their own global economy. They don't need the dollar anymore. They don't need the World Bank, the IMF, UN. They can go without that because they have all those same entities in their own format. And therefore, they want their own internet. And so, could this be anything linked to all this possibility of an electric gear, EMP, something like that? Because under the water, it might give you a little protection if there's some type of EMP type of attack. I don't know, but I would assume it, could have some protection under the water, especially, thousands of miles on the floor. Who knows? And then last little article here for the U.S. And this is something interesting. Elon Musk offers cheaper internet service by the end of this year. And so we got the whole SpaceX, the fact that I think in this article here talks about, as of now, there's about 12,000 or there's currently 1,200 Starlink satellites in orbit that's able to deliver internet to the Earth, to where we really, here in the U.S., we really don't need the current physical infrastructure, of 5G fiber optics and all that stuff in the ground, whatever, because those satellites there are probably going to be used if there's some type of event that happens on Earth. And the reason I say that, because with all this debt, with 300 trillion denominated in dollars globally that can't be paid back, if there's an event that shakes the world up to where the power goes out, computers get wiped or whatever, it would destroy the old infrastructure. But if Russia has their own infrastructure and China has their own infrastructure, and then Elon Musk, of course, the government's partner with Elon Musk, that's how he'd been able to become the wealthiest person on Earth, known person on Earth. And so they have something in play as well, to where if these satellites are in the sky, able to send back signals to the U.S., we'll still be good. And so could there be an event coming to wipe away all this debt? My bet would be that some type of event has to occur, because how do you account for not being able to pay back $300 trillion in liabilities? And then also the gambling, the Wall Street casino that the globally systemic important banks have created when it comes to the derivatives market, which are the equivalent of 1.6 quadrillion. So think about this: for every billion, every million, every billion, every trillion that has been brought into existence, they were all brought in as a debt, somebody's asset, somebody's liability. In order to service that and to repay that, you got to create the same amount on the other side to continue to service the interest, and never be able to pay off the principal. So more trillions will be needed. You know what I'm saying? So we already know that it's an exponential debt cycle that has to end only one way, by default. You can't default on the world and not blame it on something. What better way to blame it on something other than to say the internet went out, power went down, it's old infrastructure, somebody hit us with a cyber attack type of thing. So just something worth thinking about. Be on the lookout for that type of stuff. Anyway, yeah, I aired my chest out. I ran a little bit. But yeah, this is stuff that, once again, apart from going to your favorite sources in the alternative media realm, you'll never hear the possibility of an EMP attack and internet going down and you losing all your financial investments that's in a computer system on Fox News. You know what I'm saying? You just wouldn't hear that type of stuff. So I want to keep it real with you. That's what I try to do. But anyway, enough ranting. The phone lines are open. Let me hear from you guys. Give me a call. Let's talk. I'm curious. I could be 100% wrong. Let me know. I'm okay with that, because once again, all this is an experimentation right now. Everything we're experiencing now ultimately is experimentation that's being done to us. So we'll see how it goes. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's going on, my man? This is Dwayne calling from the Midwest, Mike. What's going on?
Dwayne from the Midwest. I'm doing good, man. What's up with you?
What's going on? I've been listening, Mike. I think I'm going to look at it. I'm going to tackle this thing a little different.
Okay.
I finally started doing messing around a little crypto, not too much, just trying to see how the functionality of it all.
Okay.
And what I'm thinking is, the $300 trillion in debt that you're talking about, if that debt can be soaked up in the crypto space, because it's, and the reason why I say that, because it's infinity. There is no, so I think if we're looking at the debt in terms of the current construct, it seems impossible. It seems like a failure.
Yeah.
But it seems like they're building along the same line a vehicle that can actually restructure and house the debt that was put in, and that's what the crypto and the definance, all that stuff is, because you can have derivatives to infinity. It can absorb. It literally can absorb all that debt that's into infinity, because after all, it's nothing. It's an error. So that's what I'm thinking. This whole construct for. That's why they don't care about the debt. I don't know about you, but I know me. I've been looking at it. I think I'm starting to change my thinking on it a little bit. I've been looking at it from the standpoint of this system in terms of what I've been taught with monetary theory and all that.
Yeah.
All those type things. But when you take a look at it, when you look at monetary theory, cryptos wasn't around. They didn't have those in those examples. So what I think they're doing is they're trying to stall and get this infrastructure built up to suck in all this debt and to restructure it, and then to rebirth it. Is what I'm looking at, and that's just my take on it.
Yeah,
it's real market of beast type stuff.
Yeah. And so at this current moment, anything's possible. So I wouldn't say, you're that's not correct. No, anything's possible, because as I mentioned, as a part of this experimentation, only those that are behind the scene pulling the strings actually know their objective and how they're steering all governments and all politicians and all monetary central bankers, whatever, towards what goal. We just trying to document and try to narrate these waters, knowing that something has to give, and everything in the current format needs to be addressed in some capacity, because it can't be repaid. Now, whether it's rolled into the current cryptocurrency space and you try to put 281 million into Bitcoin type of numbers, I mean, yeah, but I still got a lot of questions to follow that. Like, okay, then what? Like, because they're going to tokenize everything, real estate, stocks, and everything like that. So it's all going to be turned into digital tokens of some kind. Then what? You know what I'm saying? Like, if the system is still in play where it's, the usury concept of more debt exponentially needing to grow in order to feed on the last debt, then we're still up to another paddle. They may buy another couple decades, 100 years. But we're still, it's still the same orchestrators running this, so it ain't gonna end well anyway, now or then.
But you forgot one thing though.
Give it to me.
All that. You're correct on the collateralization of all the stocks and all the other assets, but there's one asset that they're working on being collateralized. That's people.
Man, you ain't never been right. Woo. Okay.
So that is the final. So that's with the, that one thing which I won't say.
Yeah.
It's taboo to say.
Right.
But that one thing coming on board, and then it looks to me like they're collateralizing people. So we could have very, very well be looking at a new form of slavery.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, I'm more than convinced, because that's the only way you can pull off this New World Order agenda where you'll own nothing and be happy with it. Because I'm thinking, like, who's going to really be happy with it unless conditions are extremely bad and people will be more than excited to accept crumbs because they are getting their daily bread from this entity, some New World biblical type stuff. So, but hey, man, let me get some more calls in. I appreciate you for sharing your thoughts. Go ahead.
One more thing, Michael, I'm going to hit you with this. I just want to say this. This part I'm going to get off. But this is not new.
Yeah.
Remember, this happened before. What do you think FDR did with the Social Security number?
Good point.
Well, take it easy, Mike.
Hey, man, I appreciate you.
Yep.
Oh, man. Hello, caller. Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is 313 Wayne. I'm calling from Detroit.
3131. How you doing, man? What's going on with you?
Not much. My wife was watching The Simpsons this morning, and she picked out something in season 8, episode 17. You touched on the central bankers possibly getting us to look at Bitcoin as a possible transition mechanism. Homer and Marge were walking down the street, and they passed by the crypto barn, the place to go for codes. And this is in 1997. And Bitcoin was established in 2009, and the white papers, I don't understand how they could, attend the crypto barn in 1997. And additionally, in the Simpsons video game, the crypto barn is the most expensive piece of real estate in the game. It's $81,000. It's the very most expensive piece of real estate in the 90s. I don't understand this.
Okay, so let me walk through this a little bit. So you say in this episode of Simpsons, the crypto bar. Now, was there what type of sign, a crypto sign, a logo was resembling that particular cryptocurrency or currency that you're referring to? It wasn't BTC, I know, but I wouldn't be surprised.
No,
but what was it?
It was no particular currency. It was barn. Like if it was like you go to the shoe barn to get discount shoes. It was a barn, but it has a sign in the window, codes, a place for codes. Because when she first told me, there was no way that it could be crypto. It's season 8, and I was looking, I went to rewind it and I looked at it and it said codes, CODE, so I'm like, hold on, that's too much of a reference. It says crypto, like currency, and code, the place to go for code.
Yeah.
And this is in 97.
So it's a Simpsons episode what? And I'm gonna just episode what?
Season number 8.
Okay.
And episode 17.
Episode 17.
It's babysitter. It's my sister's sitter. It's the episode where they placed Lisa, Bart's younger sister, as Bart's babysitter.
Okay, so season 6, episode 17.
No, season 8, episode 17.
Oh, okay. Sorry, let me go 8. Okay, so I'll play around with it on my end, but I'm curious to see that for myself. So thanks for calling and sharing that, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. And one thing to remember, the real estate on the video game, the virtual video game, the crypto barn is the very most expensive piece of real estate on the crypto barn.
Okay.
I mean, on the Simpsons video game, the virtual game.
Okay. Appreciate it, man. We'll check that out. Thank you.
Have a great day, Mike.
Be good.
All right.
Interesting. Yeah, and that's the thing. So, one of the things I always I got a couple calls here. I was by the rant. Hello, caller. Where you calling from?
Yo, Mike, how's it going? It's
Brando Commando, doing good, man. What's up with you?
Hey, man. So today was the day that I sold half my crypto.
You sold half your crypto. Congrats. I don't know. Is that a good thing, a bad thing, or what? Like you mad, you sad? What was your? Give me your reason behind all that, if you don't mind sharing.
Well, like I've been telling you guys, I keep asking you, what inning of the game are we in? I feel like we're in the 9th inning. So I keep my ear to the street. I listen to YouTube and I read some mainstream articles every now and then, and they're all talking about the economy running out of momentum. Talking about the bulls running out of momentum, the market being in bubble. Like everyone is calling it out. So I know sometimes, like when everyone agrees, and it never happens because everyone's always wrong.
Yeah.
But if you just think about it seasonally, like I feel like this summer is going to be like a pretty good summer. Like people are definitely going out doing more stuff, but that's going to it's going to peter out around like July or August.
Yeah.
And the fall time is notorious for declines. And Biden would rather have a stock market correction sooner than later.
Yeah.
So I feel like we're looking at some market tops right now.
Okay. Well, I can never say never. So we'll see, man. But I think even if there is a market top and there is a correction, I just believe that because the overall monetary reset is not in play. I don't think the infrastructure they have set up is ready to be rolled out yet. So I think they would want to buy themselves more time. So I think the response might be an immediate response. Congress come together and pass a $10 trillion, relief package. It'd be called it'd be called some patriot, let's help get the markets back on the up act or something like that.
Yeah, but even you have acknowledged yourself in the last couple of videos that the race now is to keep up with China's digital dollar.
Yeah. So
if the Fed doesn't start keeping up with that, and the only way to really shake Americans into getting a smartphone and downloading an app is to do another COVID-esque type of problem.
Yeah.
And that's the same false flag that everyone keeps talking about. I mean, Manorino's waiting for some bomb to go off. I mean, you've been talking about false flags for a while now. So it's almost like the next shoe has to drop in order for them really to go hard with the digital dollar.
All right, man. Well, hey, we will see. But thanks for calling and sharing your thoughts and sharing your current experience, man. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah, Mike, you keep the great work, bro.
Will do, man. Thank you.
All right, see you. Bye.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the shoe's about to drop. Okay. So yeah, and here's the thing, timing, of course, no one knows for sure. I think they have an ideal time frame. They, meaning the orchestrator of this event, they have an ideal time frame, but anything can give on them because they're not God, even though they're trying to play God. So I would hope that whatever does occur, it occurs and it catches them off guard to where the response is that much more worse, I would say, so that it can hopefully rattle them and shake up their plans and cause we the people to be able to have a moment of rally. We can have a rally cry and go take back our liberty. You know what I'm saying? Because if they have their way, being able to pinpoint the time, the date, location, and they can be prepared and be in their bunkers already, and everybody else is in the streets trying to, what I'm saying? Hopefully, if the Lord intervenes, we can debunk that. But what I'm saying? We leave it up to him. Hello, caller. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, Mike. Casey calling from Fort Worth, Texas.
Casey from Fort Worth. What's going on, man?
I was listening to the first caller and I was listening to Brandon Commando, and I kind of want to piggyback on some of the stuff they said.
Yeah.
The first caller, he was talking about how they get people enslaved with the debt, and I was just thinking about this. The people themselves are in a way. The human race is in a bubble from both excess money from the Federal Reserve and a lot of oil. If you think about it, the world population was about 1 billion in the 1930s, and after World War II, we obviously had Bretton Woods and all that stuff, and we were able to invest a lot and expand in the global economy. Yeah, and oil assisted that with because we can get new plastics and we live, help out. Anyways, whenever the money expanded, same thing with the population. Or I should say the money and the oil. Yeah. And I've heard Gregory Manorino say this once, the dollar pops, so does the human population. And two, with Brandon Commando, here's the thing with cryptos. I'm not a fan of them. I don't trust them that much. But here's the thing. Yeah. Well, not only is it they're used for, it's created by the NSA. Two, whenever they create the one world currency, all those cryptos will go to zero. But here's the thing, though. He was talking about how there's the top. I don't necessarily agree with that. Whenever the dollar crashes, and not just that, look at Turkey, look at Argentina right now. They're about to crash. Yeah. There's going to be whole entire populations trying to get out of their currency, and there's obviously not enough gold and silver to go around. So the next best thing is crypto. When the dollar crashes, there are literally billions of people moving money around to save their life savings, and obviously there's just 1%. There's hardly any precious metals. So the next thing is going to be, there's going to be a massive demand in cryptos. But like I said earlier, once the one world currency comes around, all of them will go to zero. But you know, my take on it is whenever I think whenever you should hang on to cryptos until whenever the hyperinflation comes, or whenever the hyperinflation comes, that's when you should get rid of them, because sooner or later, like I said, they'll the one world currency. Yeah. But anyways, I'll let you get on to your next call.
Appreciate you. Thanks for calling, man, sharing your thoughts.
Thank you.
All right. Let me before I take the next call, let me share something real quick before I take the next call. I apologize for that. I want to acknowledge the super chat. Vicious People says, I have to disagree with the caller. They are collateralizing people. Look at your BC and your Social Security number. Vicious People, collateralizing. Yeah, definitely. I think that plays into it. And I think that kind of piggybacks on what he was mentioning about how, just look at your passport. For those that travel, your passport says it's property of the government. Therefore, all caps. Your first name, last name, all caps. We're already been branded as capital for the banking system. So of course you dive into maritime law and all the sovereignty stuff, whatever. All that stuff, makes a lot of sense if you're willing to dive down that rabbit hole. So, but appreciate the love offer, my friend. Thank you for the blessing. And then one thing I want to bring up real quick. The Angels forecast of massive depopulation by 2025. So, this is something we talked about last year, and it's just the fact. I think I heard it was taken down, but there is this. This. Let me see if I can zoom in here. This one caught me by surprise. Somebody introduced it to us, last year. But this The Angel, and even Doug Casey did a little video I watched on it, and it talks about within 5 years, so between now and 2025, a reduction of the United States population by 2/3. So, once again, is this a forecast, a prediction, or a forewarning of what the orchestrators of this event is looking to accomplish? That's how this website, that's heavily military-based type of ordeal here, has this inside information. So you got to think about this. If that is accurate, if they succeed, and I think has a lot to do with the current, stuff that goes into bodies, as well as, and now I'm about to rant. I gotta rant. Give me 1 second. I gotta rant. Let me share something with you. So earlier I was going to attempt to do a video, but I was like, yeah. Anyway, so let me share something with you that David Morgan, the Silver Guru, tagged me in a video, tagged me in an article that, let me see if I can find it, that I checked out, and I was gonna comment on it because of course I got an opinion on it. Let me see if I can find it real quick, and I'll share it with you guys if I can find it, because it plays into being property and being cattle, and the idea of owning nothing and being happy with it. Let me find this here. Okay, so I'll pull up here. So here's a visual aid that David Morgan tagged me in, and I responded, thanks. I got a thought on this one, but this infographic shows how only 10 companies own all the world's brands. And so I'm like, man, I'm thinking like consolidation of power is what this is all about. And in order to do so, you have to own everything and remove personal property from every human being to execute your game plan, so that the people themselves will be so destitute for help that they'll be willing to accept whatever you throw out there. And so when I saw this, the first thing came to mind was all these companies here. Let me see if I can zoom in. All these companies here own pretty much all the major brands. You look in your cabinets, more than likely you got products from these entities here. We got Nestle, Pepsi Cola, Coca-Cola, General Kellogg's. You see all these names. These are global. So most of these over here, these are probably foreign brands, but all the products in our shelves, candy, the M&Ms, Milky Way, all that stuff, it's all products owned by these 10 people. And then the question you have to ask yourself is, who owns these 10? And then you factor in, you got Bill Gates buying up a good portion of all the farmland in this country. So you got, within the last year, the uber wealthy have gotten even that much more insanely wealthier, and they themselves have been buying real tangible assets and buying up everything around us. And on another note, I'm gonna start ranting, is that every single company on this list here everything on the shelves, everything that's on it, every color you see, we can't really see the details of it, but just imagine some of your favorite foods, health, nutrition stuff, all that stuff like that, are all products that are genetically modified. Every single item on this list here is something that is chemically made in a laboratory and then mass produced in a bottle. We drink it, Pepsi Cola. And think about this. All this food or substance is genetically modified, altering the human body, making it weaker, destroying who we are personally, you know what I'm saying, our health. Here in the U.S., we got the biggest we got the most, overweight population in the world because we've been eating good for too long. And then you got the fact that now that on the health side of things, the next agenda is also, in my opinion, to genetically modify the actual human genome at some point, to where if you control the food, you control the land, you control the body, that puts them in their perspective, their sick and twisted perspective, as the closest thing to God as they can become. Because ultimately, all the evil that Satan's doing right now is all designed to kill, steal, and destroy humanity, because he's limited in time. So everything is being sped up now, I believe. And so I when Dave Morgan shared this with me, I was like, man, I got to touch on this, and I didn't get a chance to do it. But you see how sick and twisted this thing is. The fact that we, the people, all those that are viewing, whether you agree or not, you can, if you start to pull all this together, it's not too conspiratorial. I'd be willing to say you can agree with me on that one. You know what I'm saying? Thumbs up if you agree, thumbs down if I'm completely off my rockers, and then I'll dial back. But anyway, just like to just try to put the pieces of the puzzle together to put together the main picture for the world to see. So anyway, man, I can go on and on and on, but I'm about to dial back. So I appreciate everybody taking time to hang out with me. Hit the thumbs up button, show your love for the channel. And if you found any value out of here, make a little clip, make a clip out of it and share it with your family and friends, or send in a link or something like that. Trying to wake up more people in a faster time frame, because the clock is ticking. And on the surface, it looks like we, the people, are behind the 8 ball, but God is still in control. So let's kind of encourage one another. All my believers out there, give yourself a spiritual nudge. You got to stir up your joy in the Holy Ghost, you know what I'm saying? Type of stuff. So hallelujah. Anyway, I'm done. I can go too far. I can go too far. But let me acknowledge the super chat here. Lawrence Frank said, much love, Mike, and times we're in them. Yes, man. I appreciate you for the blessing, my friend. Thank you. Okay. That's all she wrote. I can rant forever, but I appreciate the participation from you guys. Be blessed, be safe, and stay prayed up. Pray for our country, pray for our leaders, and pray that the Lord's will be done in the earth as it is in heaven. That's my last note. Peace.